What's up, everybody? My name's Tom, and welcome to something brand new here on Something for Every Nerd. Now, we are all big fans of Dungeons & Dragons. We've been playing it for years. I've only been doing it for 3. Some of the people in this series will have been playing it for longer. But we wanted to bring it to the channel, and we also just wanted an excuse to play. So what we're doing is we are going to be playing through some of the pre-made books. It's a campaign created from the Lost Mines book that comes with the starter kit, Rise of Tiamat, and Horde of the Dragon Queen. Those 3 books are coming together to make one campaign, though the Dungeon Master is taking a bit of other material from various other books. But it's just those 3 core books, the majority of the campaign. As far as scheduling goes and the recording sessions, we actually can't do this live. We all have our own lives. Some of us have work, some of us have school. We don't really have the time or the ability to do a live show, which we would love to, we just can't. So how this is going to work is that all of this is going to be pre-recorded. At the time of me recording this, at the start of the first episode, I think we're 4 or 5 sessions in already, and we're going to be breaking those down into hour-long chunks for you guys to watch. We all have ideas for other games we want to do down the line, so we're looking forward to that. I have ideas for my own campaign I would love to run, but we'll see how this goes before I try anything that ambitious. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going through the pre-made books. It's all pre-recorded because of our schedules. Hopefully it can still come out on a consistent basis. I know school's starting for a couple of them and work is about to get a bit busier, so hopefully it's not too bad, especially with the holiday season coming up soon. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. That's pretty much it. Welcome to Dragons for Every Dungeon here on Something for Every Nerd. I'm going to pass it on now to our Dungeon Master, Mr. Janky Shenanigans. Take it away, Janky.
Allow me to be the first to say, welcome to the realms, gentlemen.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to my adventure.
Yes. Now, as you guys know, because I've told you this many times, I am the sort of DM that no one should take advice from because I don't take a lot of notes beforehand. I like letting the story flow with my players. That being said, I do have this lovely little black book with me. I like to call it my book of many things because there are many things in it. But of the many things in it, there are 7 that may concern you all. In this book, I have writings in forgotten languages. Several small notes I've taken on the wetlands. The true meaning of temerity. An incredibly useful spell. The scribbles of a man named Trigorin. 7 powerful and deadly artifacts in one song for a rainy day. We'll see what we see. But now is the time, not for words, but for adventuring. And what an adventure we have as we start in the City of Splendors, the City of Waterdeep, jewel of the Sword Coast. As we pan down over the city, we see 4 entrances. The Deepwater Harbor, where a ship, gray as a mare, sails in. Strangely enough, this ship has seen much weather, and its name seems very incongruous to its looks. But the eternal spring sails proud amongst the merchants, the pirates, and the traders. To the north, we see a lone figure, cloaked in shadow, as she darts through the north gate, through the dilapidated field ward, and into the city. We ask ourselves, what is her story? How long has she been here, and what is her goal? We'll see. To the east of the city, we see the famous city park, the City of the Dead, which, despite its name, is actually a beautiful place full of marble mausoleums, fountains, and quiet pools. Near one of these quiet pools, we see 3 figures, one of them packing a traveling sack, ready to set out and see what he may see of the world, as the other 2 say goodbye. And on the city's southern gate, we see a caravan, decked in emerald green, making its way toward the city. Amongst its number, we see a proud, tall rabbit-kind riding in his saddle to the City of Waterdeep. But first, let us journey back to Deepwater Harbor, where we see a tall, proud, gray-skinned, black-horned, silvery-haired captain. This man is Kedis Torande, and he is the captain of the Eternal Spring. At his side, we see a proud sun elf wearing pince-nez glasses and a long overcoat. His quartermaster, and also the manager of the economics of the shipping business, Regis Satchet. And to his other side, a tawny-skinned Tetherian human by the name of Vars Leeward, who knows the name of every man and every woman on the deck of the ship. And who is on the ship? A young water genasi by the name of Reef. And we go to him now. Now, Reef, you've been sailing on the Eternal Spring for a few years. Kedis took you on as an apprentice of sorts in the company. Your interest in sailing has been largely incidental to your ultimate goals. Yeah. You actually know that Kedis hired you on because you used to be friends with his daughter. I say used to vaguely. It's not that you're not still friends, it's just that you haven't heard from her in a while. However, if you would like to open your envelope...
Oh, fucking hell.
You'll see 3 things inside. I would like you to find the small piece of paper with a wax seal on the back of it.
Oh, I'm excited now.
You put wax seals on these? Oh my god.
He actually did.
Now, about 6 months ago, you received a letter
I'm scared
from...
to open it because I don't know.
You received a letter from your friend, Aaliyah, daughter of Kedis. And it came to you as sort of a surprise. You haven't talked to her in a few years. What did you make of the letter whenever you received it?
Was surprised, but just happy to hear from my friend.
Of course. Now, the contents of the letter, she seemed like she was doing well. She said that she was in Waterdeep. She said many things. I see your confusion. How about you hold that letter up to your camera so people can see exactly how it's written? Ah, yes. The flowing script of her Thoracian hand. The official alphabet of Common in the Forgotten Realms.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. We can't read Common. I mean,
Yes.
we can. But...
Mistakes have been made.
I can't read.
What I didn't know is that Reef is actually illiterate.
What you do know is this, based on her letter, is that she moved to Waterdeep several years ago. That's actually sort of whenever you began to lose contact with each other. You know from the contents of the letter, it seems like she has gotten into the trading business. She seems doing very well. And in the last paragraph, she says, if you would like to talk to her, simply find an adventure and meet her in Waterdeep. So I have a couple questions for you. First of all, what did you do whenever you received this letter? Obviously, her father is the captain of the ship. You're very good friends with Vars, who is sort of the second in command here on board the ship. Very nice fellow. In fact, even Regis, the quartermaster, who is a very powerful mage in his own right and has been showing you the ropes of how to perfect your magic. What is it that you did upon receiving this letter?
Probably would have taken it back to my quarters first thing, or wherever I sleep, and read it in private.
Yes.
Reed's not someone who likes to have people around when he reads.
Mm-hmm.
Reading over his shoulder is a bit of a pet peeve.
Sure.
After reading it, first thing he probably would have done was go to the captain.
All right.
Ask when would they be making their next stop in Waterdeep.
So he basically told you, so whenever you received this, you actually received it in a very strange way. It was actually given to you by Regis. As the master of the shipping business, if you will, aboard the ship, he actually has 2 inboxes on his desk. One of them is sort of paperwork that he's been going through, and another is a receiving inbox. He actually gets mail teleported to him through this inbox.
Inbox.
Yes, it is a magic inbox.
One.
And he actually received this letter. He said it was from an old friend, and he recognized the seal on it. But he told that it was addressed to you, so he didn't read it or anything. He just handed it off to you. Whenever you ask Kedis this question, he says probably about 6 months. And this is about 6 months ago now that you would have asked him. You were actually in Chult at the time, in Port Nyanzaru, dealing with some shipping down there. And so it takes about a month to get from Port Nyanzaru to Waterdeep, but you had to stop in the Moonshays on the way. There was a quick stopover in Port Calimshan, and then you made your way up to Waterdeep.
Okay. Once we landed in Waterdeep, he would make sure, or I guess I would make sure, that there was no work that needed to be done right away. Because I do want to see my friend, but I have a job to do. Once the job's done, then I can go meet up with my friends. So I would go to the captain and ask, is there any work you need done? Do I need to take anything anywhere? Do I need to go bring something back? Or anything else?
So Kedis takes you off to the side and he says, I know that my relationship with Aaliyah has been strained these past years. I can't say that I have anything that I would have you deliver to her. And of course, there's nothing that I really want you to focus on while you seek her out, if that's what you intend to do. No, my boy, I would only thank you for your service aboard the Eternal Spring, and if you do happen to see my daughter, please tell her that I do miss her, despite our differences.
Of course.
And I would hope to hear from her again. However, before you leave, there is one thing that I would like to give you.
Okay.
And he reaches behind him and he pulls out a small leather bag, which you also have in that box.
I see that down there. Yes.
Yes.
It's on the floor right now.
And he says, I have spoken with Regis, and he has spoken to me of your interest in the art of divination. I was told by him that divination requires several materials, but the more precious the materials are to the wizard using them, the more powerful the spells may be cast. So I took some spare wood we had around the ship, and Regis said he had a friend that could inscribe runes upon them. I'm told that they're giant runes. They are frequently used in predicting the omens of the future. I hope that they may serve you well and serve as a reminder of your time aboard my ship in the Eternal Spring.
Did he hand that to me, like, right away? I'm just saying, just real quick. Like, did he pull out the bag, hand it to me, and then go into that explanation?
Yeah, he handed you the bag, and then
I'm listening, but the entire time he's talking, I am untying and trying to open the bag. Well, this explanation, because, like, I want to see what's inside.
Have you opened the bag?
I actually have untied it while you were... I actually was untying it while you were talking. I haven't opened it yet.
Well, he just says, may they serve you well, and I'm sure Regis can tell you more about them than I can, but...
I'll have to talk to him when I come back.
Yes. I do hope that you may find Aaliyah out in the world, wherever she may be.
I'll do my best, so... Thank you, sir. And then I'll head off the ship, like, reaching into the bag to pull stuff out to see what's inside.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually doing right now.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
So, yeah, those are wood-carved giant runes. Because they are made from wood from the Eternal Spring, any price that you may have to pay for a divination spell, you do not have to pay because the runes are priceless to you.
Shit.
And therefore, you may use them at your leisure. But only for divination spells.
Yeah.
For now. As you go to leave the ship, you do see Regis down on the docks. He's currently working on basically managing the day-to-day of the ship, making sure that everything gets unloaded, that all the cargo is there for their next shipment out. He has a clipboard in his hand. He's just sort of checking everything. He does notice you hanging out, walking down the plank to the docks.
Looking in the bag.
Yes, looking in the bag. And he would like to stop you, if that's cool with you.
I would stop if he asked me to.
Yeah, he would just like to talk to you, and basically he just wants to say that it was a pleasure being your tutor in magic these past few years. I hope that you've learned something from me.
I hope so.
Well, I certainly hope so too. There is one thing that I would like to mention to you before you leave, something that I noticed. The seal on the letter that you received. I take it that your goal is to find Aaliyah, if she is here in the city.
That's why I'm here, so yeah.
The seal is one that I recognize. It's actually the seal of a small shop on the seaward side of Mount Waterdeep. The owner is an old friend of Kedis's brother-in-law, Temerin. His name is Artius Manx, and he owns the Tea of Life tea shop on that side of the hill. I recognize the seal. Perhaps that may be a good place for you to start your adventure.
Well, it's more of a start than I had 2 minutes ago, so I was gonna just kind of walk around hoping to run into something, but yeah, that's a lot better.
Well, I'm glad I could be of service. May deep chalice guide your path on the oceans ahead.
Cool.
And what?
I would walk away maybe for like 10 feet and then turn around like, wait, which direction?
he just points you up to the giant mountain that's leading over the city, and there's like a path that you see going up from the dock ward, and he just kind of points you in that direction.
Should have realized that one. Okay, and I would head out.
All right, and you head off through the dock ward, which the great sage of Shadowdale Elminster once described as a 4-mile-long, 24-hour barroom. So have fun with that. Next, we go over to the City of the Dead, which is a peaceful and beautiful park. We see 3 people standing under the shade of a yew tree beside a small, still lake. One of them, Spruce Springstream, a thin, incredibly malnourished-looking druid, a human, if I recall correctly, and he is currently packing his meager possessions in a travel sack, having resolved to leave the city. He has his reasons, of course, one of them being that his druid circle, if you wish to call it that, the Eldathian Sanctuary Brotherhood, which was formed of these 3 people currently standing here. Their original goal was to help the homeless of the city of Waterdeep, but Spruce, one of the things that you've noticed is there are no homeless people to help. Apparently, they are all now doing better than you, and you just don't see as many on the streets anymore. And you take it from here, but it's kind of been it's been slow going for the Brotherhood lately.
I guess that really just means our work is done.
It's true.
At least in this space.
Yeah. That's very hippie of you, and I love it and hate it at the same time. Now, Spruce, you're actually here with 2 of your friends. One of them is the co-founder of the Eldathian Brotherhood, and that would be Rowan Atkinson, a Cyprian human. He is thin, silver-haired, 20-something with threadbare clothing, similar to you. He has a simple shirt and a rope belt. His hair is cut short but shaggy. Yes, he has piercing blue eyes, a roundish face, very much boyish charm. And he's just leaning under the shade of the yew tree.
I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah. And then the other person chilling out with you, that would be Tara Spelling. She is an Aluskan human. Pretty, but very practical. Her family actually lives in the dock ward. She is the oldest of 8 children. Her parents don't really care what she's doing right now, as long as they don't have to worry about taking care of her, sadly. But she actually joined the Eldathian Brotherhood along with you guys because she really believed in your message. And she believes that why shouldn't she be a part of the Eldathian Brotherhood? Because she believes in helping the homeless and helping you guys. She wears very frayed clothing, much like you guys, but it's much more well-maintained. She probably washes it more often, and she also knows the mending charms, so she just kind of like...
It's one of those, like, it's like frayed look. Like,
yeah,
it's not genuine. It's the people who buy the ripped jeans already.
Yeah, she shopped at Hollister before she joined the Eldathian Brotherhood, and it shows. Yeah.
Wow, Hollister.
But she has amber eyes, auburn hair. Very, very pretty, but very practical in the way that she goes about her business. And they are basically talking to you, and you know, they understand, but it's hard for them to understand. Rowan especially is just like, we've been doing so much good work, though. I mean, like, I get it. I know that we all grew up in Waterdeep, but you know, it's a wild world out there, man. Like,
I just,
you know.
I mean, if I'm not making a difference here, maybe I can make a difference somewhere out there.
But I mean, like, I get it, but you know, like, we've been in contact with the Enclave, and they're sending like people here to talk to us, and I don't know, man. It just seems like a really bad time to head out. But you know, if I don't know, man. And then Tara, who is currently washing some of her clothes in the still pool, which has been your place of worship for Eldath, in fact. Still pools are kind of her place. She's washing her clothes, and she just says, you know, it's his choice, Rowan. If he feels that he can be doing better things out in the world, then we should allow him to go in peace, as Eldath would. Washing away.
She gets it. I can help. I can make a difference out there. And if I can't, well, I'll be back then. Either way, I'll be back, regardless, whether I can make a difference or not.
Well, while you're away, there is a last parting gift we'd like to give to you. And they hand you, if you'd like to open your box, they hand you something that looks very sad, really. They did their best to wrap it. Yeah, it looks like they took flyers off the local notice board, and they just kind of like tied it up in rope and cord. It's a very bad wrapping job, but they're doing their best.
Hey, as long as they tried.
Yeah, but there are two things, and first they notice you pull out the jar of wood, and they say, "Yeah, so that's a protective charm, man." So basically, we took all of our favorite trees here, right? So you're all about the yew tree, so we took some branches off the bark here. I'm obviously all about the rowan, which is all about like purity and goodness and protection. So I put that in there. And then Tara, she she's all about that one tree. Yeah, that one tree, you know?
Yeah, I know one. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That tree that I definitely remembered to write down. So I know exactly which one it is. But yeah. Elder. She's all about the elder tree, you know? Like the protection for, like the Fey tree and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's all in there for you. And then we also got you something, you know, your old ponchos looking a little ratty. So, you know, Tara has mending, and she was able to get some wool, and, you know, she was able to put something together for you, something to protect you on the road. And while she was making it, and I was dancing and giving charms over the pool, you know, blessings of Eldath and all that. And so this is like some serious protection, man. And I think that it will really help you while you're out on the road. I'm sorry, man. Did we put too much cord on there? We wanted it to be safe.
No, it's definitely it was definitely secured.
Well, hey,
may
look,
add
man. Hemp rope. You know,
Always.
if you need it on the road, you got it. If you're feeling like the world is too hard on you, you know, you can mellow out. It's all in there. Like,
Oh man,
You know
I
what we're
can't
about,
wait
man.
to smoke some rope.
Guys, it's a punch.
you know what we're about. Look, it's medicinal. It's safe. Waterdeep just said it was okay. You know, so I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's all in there, man. Like, it's all fine. It's all good.
This is really great.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel like it'll protect you on your journey. You know, that's what I'm really hoping for. So they give you this delightful poncho, the poncho of peace.
The poncho of peace.
So here's what it does for your edification. So this poncho counts as hide armor, which gives you 1 additional point. Yes, in your AC. And because it is the poncho of peace, because it was blessed by Eldath, the goddess of peace, you may cast Calm Emotions once per long rest without using a spell slot, using this poncho.
Dude, just mellow out.
Yeah, and the words mellow out or chill out or bro calm down will all come up in conversation when casting this spell.
Nice.
This sounds about right.
Also, you may add 100 feet of hempen cord to your inventory.
Really helps with the casting of calm
Yeah.
motion. Sorry.
Look, if you can find a good way to put that hempen cord in, I'll let you do it. Come on, man.
I'll find
You got
out
it.
to use Trust me.
Yeah, use it.
So wait, you said it was
Snip
hide
off
armor?
little snippets. And...
Yes, it is considered hide armor.
Cool.
Not plus or anything, just hide armor. Because what is wool but sheep's hide, man? I mean, basically. Yeah.
More or less.
So of course you're trying this on. You're thanking them profusely. They're giving you their best send off that they can possibly manage underneath this yew tree, which you have gathered for so many years. And you also notice the wood specifically. The yew tree, of course, as you know, is your gathering place. The rowan tree is where you always go to help the homeless. And the elder tree protected you on long nights. You would sleep beneath it, and it was like your sanctuary. So all of those have very deep connections for you. The one thing that you notice as you're unwrapping this absolute mess of a gift, you notice that among the many flyers, there's one that stands out to you because it has a seal on it. You see that it appears to be a flyer for someone who is having trouble with a missing shipment. And you see on it that it says, missing shipment, will pay in gold. If you are interested, please come to the Wayfarer Inn. And it is signed Ardius Manx. And so you think that this may be an interesting place to start your career as an adventurer.
Seems like a good idea.
And so Spruce is off through the streets of Waterdeep. You actually know your way. You've never been inside the Wayfarer, but you've been around the city. So you know that it's on the far side of Mount Waterdeep, and you can navigate there quite easily. We then swing south from the City of the Dead to the Southern Gate, where a group from the Emerald Enclave is currently making their way into the city. Now, as I said, this group is full of several people dressed in the regalia of the Emerald Enclave, very full of green emerald banners and stag imagery and all that nonsense. The one thing that makes them stand out among the group is there is a rider who is literally a giant rabbit. Very, very proud, very well dressed, with a mandolin slung across his back and a sword at his hip. And he is riding into the city with the Eldathian Brotherhood, and this is Cooper. I almost forgot the name. Cooper. So Cooper, what are you up to?
Well, I'm just sort of, riding along, taking in the day, just feeling the atmosphere of this new town, because, having come from such an isolated island, I just kind of like, whenever I come into a new town, I just like to just take it all in and just be like, yes or no.
And what a town this is. Now, where you're from in the Wilhelm Reach, there are towns down there. There are a couple places. Certainly, on your way up here, you pass through a couple towns. Although you heard of one called Baldur's Gate that you didn't pass through. You actually took the road around it. But this is like the first big city that you've ever really seen. Like this whole city might encompass a large part of your island. This is huge. And you're just kind of like drinking this in, and it's kind of a little bit staggering, honestly.
Yeah.
Just like the bustle of it. And what really strikes you, though, is that up to this point, you have definitely been the person out of place in your group. And that's not untrue here, but you do see that there are a lot of different people wandering the streets here. Mm-hmm. As you make your way through the gate, the guards kind of give you like a look, but not really like
give them a salute.
Like they're interested because this is something that they probably haven't. But Water Davians are known for their ability to take everything in stride, and so they're just kind of like, okay, cool, rabbit,
sweet, that's new.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sweet, cool, man, good on you.
So, you actually came here with a member of the Enclave who was sent here to talk with some druids here in the city, Tetheria Strongheart. So Tetheria is a dwarven druid, actually. She comes from the Great Rift, which is a little funny, just because the gold dwarves of the Great Rift are kind of known for their forging skills. But she felt this strange call to nature. She has a very strange specialty. She's very good with stones and metals, which isn't something that druids are typically good with. But that kind of makes her an important member of the Enclave and an interesting member of the Enclave. So she came here with you, and she knows your intentions are sort of to seek adventure. Mm-hmm. She knows that you've gotten a little adventure back in the Wilhelm Reach. And in fact, if you could open your envelope for me. There is something inside for you.
I see it. The little bit, right?
Yes.
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 Little tiny purple dragon scale. I can't do this. Dragon scale.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You actually went adventuring with a man who said that he was one of the Purple Dragon Knights of Cormyr. He had come to the Wilhelm Reach, in fact, to seek out some missing scales that were rumored to be in the area of the Purple Dragon of Cormyr. Yeah. Now, he obviously had to return to Cormyr. This was a few years back when Cormyr was still being assaulted by both Sembia and Netheril. And so he had to return, and he offered you a place among the Purple Dragons, but you knew that it would not offer you the freedom to go adventuring and forge your own tale.
Yeah.
However, there were probably 20 scales there, and he saw no reason, even though they are sacred, to give you one as a reminder and an open offer to join the Purple Dragon Knights if you would ever feel.
Real quick, what was his name again?
Good question. His name was Kedrick Dardragon.
Kedrick? Is that you?
Dardragon?
Dardragon, yes. Yes, very appropriate for a purple dragon knight.
Right?
Well, I was laughing at that and the fact that Joe just used that rope to tie it around the bottle of wood and is wearing it like a necklace.
Yeah.
Oh,
see, I was going to do that, but I decided to let you do it on.
Very nice.
Good
job.
job.
Even not I made.
So here's what's really funny is that you have actually been using the full dragon scale as a pick for your mandolin as the way to channel your magic.
Of course I have.
Yeah, so right now it's just kind of your arcane focus because you've found that it's very useful in channeling magic, especially nature magic for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what you've been using it for. What is it though that as you're riding through the city gates, how long do you intend to stay with the Enclave? Like, what's your goal once you get here?
Is Tathira asking that, or just you, the DM?
Tathira is actually asking it only because she knows that you came on this trip largely for the adventure of it, and she knows that she's headed back to the Vilhorn Reach after they're done here, but she knows that you're looking for something more.
Yeah.
And she wants to know what that is that you're looking for.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'll just look to her and say, well, I mean, I don't really know. This has been, everything's just been one adventure after the other. I mean, this whole town is as big as my island, and this is just one town. There's so much I could do just here alone. I don't know. I might scale that mountain. I might, play every tavern in this town. I might, find some work at the docks, or I don't know. There's endless possibilities here.
She gives a little laugh at this, and she says, "Can I make you a suggestion?
Yeah.
How about you start at the notice board and work your way forward?"
That's smart.
They don't call me the strong heart of the Emerald Enclave for nothing.
Good to know.
Because she literally is the strong heart of the Emerald Enclave. That was a bad quip. Anyway, so she actually points directly to a board that is right behind you. And you see that it is, in fact, covered with flyers. And if you look in your envelope, you can actually see some of the flyers that are available to you.
Yeah.
I've got some spare ones, too, if you need some.
So you see that there are all sorts of notices across this city. You see that there's one for the Siren Sisters. They're playing at some place called the Yawning Portal.
Yeah.
It appears that there's
Siren Sisters.
Yes, they're playing Midwinter, which is coming soon.
Yeah.
You see that there's a poster for what appears to be an internship with some adventuring company.
Yeah.
Their logo is an A and an I. I don't know. It seems poorly made and sketchy to you.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I don't know about that one.
You just see ads for like an apartment complex.
Yep. Tenants
Yeah,
open.
the Godcatcher Apartments. You don't know what that's about. Whoever posted it seems very curmudgeonly, actually.
I love that it says tenants open or tenements open. Speak with Andra Blackcloak or do not. I don't care.
Yeah, she seems very curmudgeonly.
Yeah.
But the one that catches your eye the most is one with a wax seal.
Yeah.
And this wax seal basically says there's trouble on the high road. There's a shipment that's being lost. Gold will be paid. Come to the Wayfarer Inn.
Yeah.
Signed, Artius Manx.
All right. I'm gonna take all of them for the time being, stuff them in my bag, but I'm gonna pull this one off the board and look back to Thera and go, well, I think I found my next step.
May Sylvanas guide your path through the wilds. And she tilts her head, and she says, and remember, the Emerald Enclave will always be your friend.
Thank you. And I'll extend a hand and be like, and may
and she will...
And may Titania guide you.
And she just, nods in approval, and she heads off toward the City of the Dead with her contingent.
Yeah. And I'm gonna rear my horse back and start heading in a direction towards a guard, trying to find where the seaward side of Mount Water. Actually, no. If it says the seaward side of Mount Waterdeep, I'm just gonna head for the mountain.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair estimate because the mountain is very big and very obvious in the city.
Yep.
And then we come to the figure that we saw enter through the north gate, slipping through the shadows, making her way across. She has actually already stopped by a notice board in the northern end of the city. If she would like to open the envelope, Kofi.
Which one am I grabbing?
You will see a flyer in there, and you will want to grab that.
Is it just the one piece of paper?
Yes.
The one with the seal.
Yes. Now, here's the thing, is that this paper is very hard for you to read. You're pretty new to the Forgotten Realms, and you don't know much about Thoras and Common, so this isn't easy for you to read.
I recognize this symbol.
Yeah.
The
Here's
symbol.
here's the worst part is that the people that you encounter to try to interpret this for you also don't really understand it very well. You finally managed to find someone, a guard in probably about his 80s, which God knows why he's still patrolling. You think that he must be like some sort of city guard emeritus or something, but he's able to read it only because he knows Old Thoras, which he's absolutely confused as to why anyone would make a poster in Old Thoras because it is simply not done anymore. But he's able to direct you to where this place is, which is the Wayfarer Inn, which he actually knows, on the other side of the Mount Waterdeep. So you now find yourself walking along the edge of Mount Waterdeep. Describe to us your character and what they're up to as they stroll through the city.
I have notes on what my character looks like. This is a thin, elvish woman with soft, fair skin and features. Her enchanting amber eyes come with a sense of authority and charm, as the markings tracing under these features and over the bridge of her nose cause a sense of mystery.
Well, wow, way to blow us all out of the water there.
Yeah,
I had it prepared. I'm like, you know what? This is definitely going to come up because.
So I'm a rabbit.
Our character.
I like it.
But she wears a deep green traveling cloak, and a bundled cloth hangs around her neck, allowing her to wear it as a scarf or to cover her face for stealth operations.
Also, talk up a little bit. Your mic's not picking you up that well.
It's not. No. Then I need to turn up my mic.
Also, what was your name again, Cove?
You don't know that yet.
Well, I know, but I'm writing it in my notes.
Well, you'll figure it out when I get there.
Like all of us, you will remember the name when it comes up. So you're actually walking. You've actually made it pretty far at this point. You're rounding the corner of the Grand Stadium that is home to many a gladiator battle city to honor the gods of war. And you're kind of coming down this street, and on one side is a low seawall that kind of looks out over the Sword Coast. And then in front of you, a road stretches away. There are a couple buildings here and there. And then you see the road sort of splits, and one part of it goes up over the mountain. It looks like it's going to the far side. And then there's a shorter piece of road that ends in a building. And you see that this building is L-shaped. It appears to have 2 stories right up against the cliff that kind of taper out along the roof to 1 story. That's sort of the side that's facing you, the window that's facing you. And you see that there's sort of a cobbled courtyard out in front of it. There's a little carriage house for horses and things. You see a couple horses stabled there. Okay. And you see above the door that looks out over the Sea of Swords, there's a sign that says Wayfarer Inn. And above the door that's looking toward the road, you see a sign that says the Tea of Life. But there's something very interesting about this sign, and I would like you to roll a perception check to see if you can figure out what it is, because it doesn't strike you immediately.
The game.
First roll, holy shit.
Yeah.
First roll. Make it a good
We
one.
haven't rolled it all up to this point.
So, I'm not going to say it was a nat 20,
Wow,
but it was a nat 20.
way to start off the game
That's a good way to
on a
start.
nice
That's a good
one.
way to
Nice,
start.
I like it.
Thank
Profile
God.
for
Confetti.
future endeavors.
Confetti.
Okay.
Just gonna let you know that's where the episode's gonna cut. It's like, what did you roll? Next episode.
Well,
Not
so,
actually. I'm kidding.
but this is actually interesting because you almost don't notice it because again, you're pretty new to Faerun, and so you're kind of used to it. But it suddenly strikes you that this sign is written in Sylvian, which you realize was really common back home, but you think it's kind of a rarity here, and it strikes you as funny that the sign is written in Sylvian as you approach it. So what would you like to do?
So the sign that's written in Sylvan is the Wayfarers in, or the other one?
It's actually both of them. Both of them appear to be written in Sylvan.
What was the second sign again?
Tea of Life, tea shop.
Cool.
And you actually see there actually is sort of a glass window looking into the tea shop, and you can see some people milling about inside. They all look very well dressed, very noble, probably the worst. And they're all chilling out inside the tea shop.
Okay.
And then as you pass by the window to the Wayfarer Inn, you can see that it's much darker, much more mellow. Still like well lit, but you see that the clientele is a little more just like your average run-of-the-mill person.
Okay. Before I go any further, what did the gentleman tell me that this this pamphlet spoke of?
He said that it was a call for a job. He said whoever wrote it was having trouble on the high road, which he said makes sense because they're actually just now rebuilding the high road. They've paid a lot of guards to sort of patrol it, but they haven't really completed work on it yet. So there's been some problems. I guess, according to the poster, a shipment went missing, and it says, seek out Ardius Manx at the Wayfarer Inn.
And how do you spell Ardius Manx?
How do you spell which? Sorry.
Ardius Manx?
Artiius, and then a space, and then Manx. Manx. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Mhm.
I guess I'll go into the Wayfarer Inn.
Okay. When you enter, you see that there is an upper level. It appears that this was decorated with all sorts of oak and beautiful trim. Up around the top level, there are stairs immediately to your right as you enter. They go up to this upper level where you can see doors to rooms on the far side of the room and off to your left. The main tap room is sort of scattered with tables. There are some people sitting at. You see what you believe to be a halfling next to a being that you don't really know the name of, but appears to be about the same size as a halfling and has like reddish tinted skin. You think that it's what people call a gnome, but you're not 100% sure, having never really seen one before. There are a couple humans in the back with what you would guess is an elf, but they kind of have their hood up and it's hard to tell exactly. They have white hair kind of spilling out the front of their hood, so it's hard to see, but it looks like they're playing like corners or like some kind of card game. And then there's just kind of a smattering of you see like some guards at one table, just like some sailor looking people at another, probably trying to get away to a quieter place than the dock ward. There's a fire burning against the wall right across from you. And then off to your left, toward the back corner of the room, you see a door. And in front of the door, you see a very nice oak bar. It has kind of like the mirror behind it with all the shelves of booze. It's very traditional in that way. There's a little like old cash register from like what we would say was like the 1880s or something ridiculous sitting on the counter. And behind the bar, you see a figure wearing a fairly simple, sort of just like plain shirt, but with like it's got like some gold trim to it. A pretty simple leather jerkin going on. You can't really see from the waist down. He has long hair. It's kind of brown and gold, and it's sort of done up in a bun. And he also appears to be wearing glasses of some kind. He has very long pointers like an elf. But the most noticeable thing about him is the tattoos that run down his arms, because he has his sleeves rolled up, and you see interesting patterns coming on his arms, ending in the back of each of his hands. On one hand, you see what appears to be a gold coin of some sort, and on the other, you see what appears to be an oak leaf, and that is what you notice. And you suspect that this gentleman is elven in nature.
Janky's insert character!
Yes, it is Janky's insert character. Can you tell?
Yeah.
Can you tell?
Very nice.
Yeah. And he
So
looks a
that's what's
little
under
bit
your
like
hat.
what you're seeing in Discord. And that is what he looks like. Shout out to our friend, Emikaye, who did the art for this character.
Son of a bitch, that's really...
Yeah, quick shout out to Emikaye who did all of the art for all of our characters.
Yeah, they would have been on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
which
yeah,
you've seen by now.
Absolutely. Thank you, Emmy, watching this.
And also shout out to our friend Biscuits who did the overlay for everything that you see right now as well. Anyways, shout outs aside. We love you.
Before I enter, I would like to have my hood up to conceal my appearance,
Okay.
and I will approach the bar, or the,
Okay.
the bar, yeah, to ask the barkeep
Mm-hmm.
about this man, about this Artius Minx.
What would you like to ask?
Pedig i de Helen? Do you speak Elvish?
And then he replies in Elvish, but I'm not actually going to reply in Elvish because I don't
That's
really
fine.
know Elvish. But he says, "Of course, I know many old languages. What old languages do you know?"
Sylvan and Elvish.
Sylvan?
Sylvan.
That's not a very common one, is it?
I don't believe so, no.
Hmm.
Uh,
Do you have the paper in your hands?
yes. And I was going to, like, push it forward and say, do you know where I can find Artius Minx?
Well, you're in luck. You found him in front of you. Are you here for the job?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'm afraid we're going to have to wait for some more people. I haven't gotten a lot of responses back, and I wouldn't want to send one person out. Well, I'll tell you this. How about I give you a drink for free, and you hang out at the tables, and we can just chat, and I'll talk about what exactly it is that I need done, and we can discuss. Well, hopefully someone else comes. No offense to you, but it may be a job for more than one person.
I understand.
So he gets a couple things off tap. A couple very amber ales that he has prepared. And he just kind of slides you one of the metal mugs that he has, and he just kind of gestures toward one of the tables not too far from the bar. And you guys just kind of sit down. And you just kind of hang out.
To timidly drink it, because I am not an ale drinker, but I don't want to be rude.
Okay. He'll look at this and he'll be like, we have tea, if you prefer.
Going to perk up at that. Yes, please.
Of course. And he'll get up and he'll bustle back to the kitchen. and he'll start prepping tea. Is there anything else you would like to do?
No, just keep my eyes out.
Right.
Always surveying the room at any new instances, any newcomers come in, any changes.
Sure.
Very observant of the room.
Speaking of newcomers, a fellow who appears to be blue-skinned has approached the door. Reef, so you are approaching the Wayfarer Inn. You see the sign up in front of you for the Wayfarer Inn.
I can't read it.
Why not? It's in common.
I thought you said it was in. So they were both in Sylvan.
They were for her.
Okay, gotcha.
They're common for you.
Okay, magic shenanigans.
No,
So-
his name is Janky Shenanigans.
Magic. No, so you actually come up over the hill, and then you kind of have to hedge a hairpin turn to get to this place. But you found it. Yeah, you see the Wayfarer Inn up ahead of you. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm looking for the tea shop.
That's true. Regis did say that the owner was the seal he recognized as the owner of the Tea of Life tea shop. So
I would see that, and do I see the tea shop nearby? Do I see that anywhere?
yeah, it's actually all the same building.
Oh,
It's
all the same building. Gotcha.
it's one large L-shaped building, and the Wayfarer Inn looks out to the sea, and then the tea shop actually looks toward the road. So you would probably notice that sign first, honestly.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Reef wouldn't go in right away. He would around to see if he saw the other sign, and then go to the tea shop before going into the inn, because he's going to follow the advice he got first.
Okay.
Before he does that, though, like you said, there's a window. Is that right? Did I hear that right, or am I mishearing? Like you can see in, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can see into the tea shop. Yes, there's a window out front, and you can see the clientele.
Before he goes in, he would basically go around so that they can't see him in the window.
Uh-huh.
And because he's a water genasi, he knows he's sweating, so he would take the towel off his neck that he is constantly wearing, dry his hands as much as he possibly can, dry his face as much as he can, basically try his best to look as presentable as possible.
Sure.
Put the towel back around his neck, and then actually cast Prestidigitation twice. 1 to dry the towel, 2 to get the smell of the ocean that he probably has. Just to make himself as presentable as possible.
So you take a magic shower. Cool.
Basically.
Truly, the Axe body spray of cantrips.
Yeah. And then before he walks up to the door,
Prestidigitation.
before he goes up to the door, he just kind of takes a breath and just like, okay, stay calm. It's fine. Okay, and then he would walk to the door, nervous as hell, because he hasn't seen his friend in years. And then, if that is indeed where she is, and then he would get to the tea shop first.
Okay. So you walk into the tea shop. The tea shop is currently filled with what appear to be young nobles. So you have been to Waterdeep before with the shipping company, so you know, like, Waterdeep has a whole nobility class. They're always looking into the latest fashions. In fact, Kat has dealt with a couple of the nobles because some of them have made their money in shipping, and so he's interacted with them. Basically, this is a whole bunch of nobles who are all about the latest fashions. You see them wearing doublets of all kinds and jerkins of all kinds, whatever the latest fashion happens to be. Nothing that you would know about. You see them
looking around at all these people.
Yeah, they're some of them are sitting on like poofs, some of them are sitting on couches and like sofas and chairs. They're all drinking tea from pots. Like, it's God, if you listen in on the conversation, it's all just terrible. It's not even that it's boring. It's not even that it's boring. It's the worst. Like, they're talking about the latest play. None of them liked it, but it wasn't for any particularly good reason. It was just like they didn't enjoy it just because everyone else thought it was great. Like,
So Janky, what I'm hearing is that Tom or Reef is suddenly discovering what is wrong with Waterdeep.
yes.
Everything that's wrong with Waterdeep.
Everything that's wrong with Waterdeep.
Oh,
This is, in fact, everything that's wrong with Waterdeep.
Reef is already not having a good time.
Now, the one thing that you can say for this place is that one entire wall appears to be made of glass windows. The wall that looks out to the sea is almost entirely glass. And actually, on the front of the shop, there was a small tower that kind of sat out close to the cliff that dropped off to the sea. You see that there's a small sitting area that's kind of set down inside that, like the bottom of that tower. And then you see at the back there's a counter which appears to be covered in shelves that are just full of like various canisters of tea leaves that have different labels and stuff on them. And you actually see an elven figure whose arms are covered in tattoos, wearing fairly simple clothing. And has his hair all done up in a bun, looking very appropriate to this setting. Just grabbing some tea off of the shelf, and then sort of bustling back through a door into some space that's behind the counter.
Okay, so I can tell that guy works here, at least?
Yeah, he's some employee of the tea shop.
I would probably wait for him to come back out and then watch him. If he does come back out.
Okay, cool. So you're hanging out in the tea shop. About this time, a large rabbit kind arrives on a horse. At the same time, an incredibly shabby-looking druid comes shambling up the road. So you have been here before, or you have been in this area before, Spruce. So you know the Wayfarer Inn and Tea of Life. Like I said, you've never been in, but you know it. And as for our friend Cooper, you have managed to wander the city a bit, finding this place, and eventually you managed to find it. It's kind of tucked away on the backside of Mount Waterdeep.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I am going to hop off my horse, hitch it up to a post outside, and head into the tavern side, since I was told to go to the Wayfarer Inn.
Before you do notice an incredibly shabby-looking homeless person.
Oh yeah, I'm trying not to look
nice
at him.
Poncho. Okay.
I try not.
I just
to
want to be
look at him.
clear. All right, you are actively avoiding this very shabby-looking individual.
If you ignore him, you
Joe,
might
did
go
you know
away.
you're very shabby?
What?
Did you know you're very shabby?
Oh yeah, I'm well aware. Did you see the art?
It's a
Oh,
life
yeah.
choice, man.
Perhaps
Okay.
they are.
I don't have shoes, guys.
So a rabbit kind walks into the Wayfarer Inn. This draws some attention because the Wayfarer Inn is actually a usually fairly quiet place, although it has its share of stranger clientele. So everyone it draws attention, but then they just kind of go back to their own business because that's the sort of place the Wayfarer is.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do? Anyone present?
I'm gonna walk up to. Is there a bartender?
Currently, no. The bar is empty.
I'm waiting for my tea.
I'm also gonna go up to the bar. Again, still trying to actively not
you
actively ignore.
Are you holding the flyer in your hand?
No, not right now. We'll say it's like folded and tucked in my shirt.
Oh, okay.
Mine's probably on the table.
So you see, I'm gonna go up. I'm just gonna put this wad of paper on the counter, and be like, excuse me. Oh, anyone?
He probably hears you very quietly saying, "Excuse me, anyone?" Yeah. You see.
I don't want to make.
You see a head pop around the corner. Again, brown hair and a bun.
Tattoos.
Simple clothing. Yeah. Not the tattoos, just the head. And he's just like, "Oh, Be with you in one moment. And then he like
Okay.
pops back around the corner. Reef, one of the nobles has approached you and asks how and where you got your hair and skin tinged blue. And they're interested. They think that it makes an interesting statement about how we treat the water here at the coast.
Reef, get out while you still can.
The hair I just kind of grew out myself.
I'm trying to grow mine out, but I don't know. I've tried different balms, embalmings, shampoos, but it doesn't seem to grow. What do you recommend for longer hair?
Just do time. About what I used.
But see, I don't have time. My time is very precious because I have so many causes that I'm currently fighting for.
Oh no.
I don't have time to waste. I don't know.
And you're gonna waste that precious time talking to me?
Well, I mean, you just seem like an interesting sort of person. I was wondering if I could get your opinions on things going on.
Yeah.
Would you like to sit down with our group? We're actually right over here, and I think we'll have some stimulating conversation.
Do I
You'd be
recognize,
interested in.
real quick before I answer, do I recognize anyone in that group at all?
No. This
Didn't
is
think so.
like they might be. They're probably from some noble family, but you don't know the family.
Well,
Who knows?
I am. I'd rather not. I'm
Oh.
actually waiting to talk to. Me here. I'm actually looking for someone.
Oh, go on. Maybe we know. We're all regulars here. Maybe we know.
Okay. Have you seen a tiefling around here? Lighter skin, gold eyes.
Oh,
You see around here?
a tiefling.
I received a letter that had the seal fleas here.
Now that would stand out. A tiefling would be interesting. Cut back to whatever's going. As this person continues blabbering about how tieflings are misunderstood and should be treated with greater respect in our society. Now,
And he's not wrong.
he's not wrong, but he's really pretentious about how he's saying
no,
it.
I've got that.
Yeah.
I've definitely got that part.
So anyway, so we're back at the Wayfarer. Artius comes back around the corner. He has a full tea service. He's got a pot and some cups that are like turned upside down, and he just goes over to the druid on the counter. And I'm like, "How can I help you?" As he kind of pushes his way out behind the counter and continues to move about his business because he's a busy intern.
So yeah, I found this flyer.
Oh, you're here for the job. Oh, thank goodness.
I'll ingratiate myself in the conversation and be like, I also found your flyer.
Yeah, and he just kind of like takes a minute to like look at the flyer and look at you, and he's like, "Good, sweet, awesome." Now, if you would care to join my mysterious friend over here, I can get down to brass tacks about what exactly it is that I need for you to do. And then he sets the tea down, and he pours out some for you. And oh, my apologies. Would either of you like anything to drink?
Just tea would be great.
Of course, and he already has a cup because he brought out like 5. Yeah. So he just flips another cup over and pours out honey or sugar.
Yes, please.
Cream.
Yes.
Okay. And he just like pours like a dollop of honey and then a dollop of sugar and then a dollop of cream all in there and stirs it up and just like shoots it over. My rabbit friend. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your names. What are your names?
I'm Cooper.
Cooper, excellent. Spruce, beautiful. Spruce. ESB?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yes. I often provide shelter for people who are staying out in the streets at night.
Oh,
Heard of your good work.
Oh, thank you. You're amazing.
Yes, your reputation precedes you, and I do hope that it helps you in this job. Well, let me get down to brass tacks. And then we cut back over to Reef, who's standing next to an insufferable noble, who's telling him not only about the plight of tieflings, but now how the plight of tieflings actually affects nobles more than anyone.
Oh no!
I'm just gonna look at him. As he's restraining myself from just smashing my head into the wall. Just gonna look at him talk. Turn around and walk out. I'm leaving. I can't. I just can't.
It's just like, yes, spread the word that the nobles of war are really paying the price for all of this.
Sure.
And he goes back over and he sits down next to his other people and he's like, what a delightful fellow. I do hope he comes back.
I walk out and just like pinching the bridge of my nose, just like, oh god, have you got too?
As you should be pinching the bridge of your nose.
And I was like, well, since it's all one big building, I was like, I guess I'll try this, and I'll walk into the tavern.
Okay, so you walk into the tavern and you see.
I feel like I was punished for going into that tea shop.
You kind of were, but that's what the tea shop was always going to be. You chose to go into the tea shop first.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Look, there's the chill bar, and then there's the hipster tea shop, and you chose the hipster tea shop. Sorry.
That's where I was told to go.
I really wish Spruce went into the hipster tea shop. That would.
I wish Cooper would have.
Spruce would have had a great time.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah. So as you enter the Wayfarer, you see, like I described before, you see a halfling. What you would know to be a deep gnome sitting next to him. You see a couple humans and. From the looks of it, what you would guess to be a drow sitting in the back playing cards, and a smattering of sailors, some of whom you recognize from the docks, some guards, a roaring fire, all that jazz. And then you see a table near the bar that is filled with 4 individuals currently. One of them appears to be...
Right here.
Yeah.
Reef would actually kind of walk towards that table because he recognizes the guy who was also running the tea shop.
Yes.
And is going to assume he's here. He's just he's not going to be like right next to the table, but he's going to be nearby and try to like get his attention, but just waiting.
Okay, so you do the awkward hover, not wanting to interrupt, but making everything terrible for everyone.
Pretty much.
And okay, so you kind of do an awkward hover.
Do I notice the hover?
Roll me a perception.
Oh man, I'm good at these. Well, when my dice roll up. How's a 16 sound?
I mean,
you aren't trying to hide it all, right?
No, I'm standing like right there.
Yeah, you notice him. There's this dude hovering off just out of like the corner of your eye.
Picture like you're sitting at like a restaurant and everyone is just eating, talking, and then there's just that one guy just standing just
oh yeah, no.
Awkward, not sure what to do with himself.
Hey, did you have a flyer too?
You're like leaning up against the bar, like glancing sideways, but not trying to make it super obvious. Like, but you're a little too close to the table for it. Yeah, you got a whole thing going.
Nice.
Did you also have a flyer?
Me?
Yeah, you just seem like you're paying attention.
No, I just need to hear the elf guy. He's done. I don't want to interrupt. Sorry, I won't interrupt.
I'll lean into the elven guy. I think he needs something.
Okay, Artius just kind of like looks at Reef, like not sure why he's here, if not for the job, and roll me an insight check, Reef.
I did not. That is going to be. I still add the ability, but not proficiency if I don't have it, right? Just to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's going to be a very, very strong 6.
Okay. Yeah, no, he just he's just not. There's a change, but you don't know what it is. Just in the way that he looks at you, it's strange. Anyway, so he like notices that, and then he turns back to the rest and he's like, "Okay, And he just kind of like signals to Reef, like, okay, I'll be with you in a minute. And then he turns to Rest and he says, okay. So the flyer basically gives you the gist of what my trouble has been. I've been shipping things. Obviously, with my business, I tend to ship things a lot. Particularly the tea business that I have next door. It's actually incredibly popular. Catering to young nobles has been surprisingly affluent for me. And I tend to ship my teas all over. And recently, due to some trouble on seas between the Luskan pirates and the Bay of Neverwinter, I've taken to shipping my tea by road instead of by sea. This is fine. However, I recently sent a shipment up north in the care of an acquaintance of mine of a few years named Gundren Rockseeker, and an old friend of mine from the Griffin Eyrie up on the hill, Sildar Hallwinter. He's a veteran, old friend, longtime customer. I trust him entirely. They were set to head to Lyland, which is a town just north of the Mirror of Dead Men, following the high road to the north. They meant to send me a letter whenever they got there, and they never did. So I'm concerned that the high road is not as well protected as Lord Daggelt Neverember would have us believe. And I would like to know what happened to my friends and also to my crates, as it is my livelihood and my business.
Okay. Sounds fair enough. Can we talk financing?
Yes, we may. What sort of financing do you feel that you'll need?
Nothing so much initially, just on return of the goods. Particularly, what are we looking at here? And also, like, what is the actual worth of the items that were stolen?
The worth of the items that were stolen are, and please take this as politely as you may,
Yes.
not part of the deal that I am offering.
Oh, no. Understood. I'm just trying to understand what kind of,
Suffice to say, it represents a large chunk of my business in Neverwinter, and I would like it returned. But moreover, I would like to know about the safety of my friends.
Understood, yes.
I am
was just
prepared to pay you.
Trying to gauge if we're just trying to figure out, rather, if we're just kind of dealing with general highwaymen, or if there's a competing business that might have tried to abscond with your materials, or if you're...
He laughs at that, and he's like, only I make tea in the Sword Coast North.
Understood.
Now, that being said,
Yes.
the high road is currently under construction. An effort undertaken by former Open Lord and rightfully disgraced Daggelt Neverember to reopen trade between Neverwinter and Waterdeep. Now, while he insists that he's hired guards for the high road, I have my doubts, especially around the Mirror of Dead Men. It is a haunted place, full of undead, lizard folk, all sorts of nasty things that love to attack travelers on the road. I suspect that this is where my friends have fallen. Now, if you can find them and return them in good health, I am willing to pay you 100 gold pieces.
Oh, we're getting paid.
He just kind of looks at that, and he's just like, and of course, you may donate it to any charitable. If you would prefer that I donate it to a charity, if you would prefer that I help one of the many causes of the city with it, I would be more than happy.
I'll tell you, I just thought I was doing a favor.
Well,
I just didn't realize.
I do appreciate, Spruce, that you're willing to follow the job even though you believed it only a favor. But no, I do believe that you deserve to be compensated for this task. And if you may return, my friends, in good health, I will be willing to pay you each 100 gold pieces. Otherwise, if you may at least find out where my crates have gotten to, I will pay 50. I will certainly pay you at least 10 for your troubles if you are unable to discover any information regarding my friends.
That sounds like a fair deal.
Yes. I thought so. Do you have any other questions for me?
You said it was you believe that your friends may have fallen around, you said the Mirror of Dead Men or the Mirror of Dead Men?
The Mirror of Dead Men. And he's like, actually, if I may. And he goes behind the bar, and he kind of runs the bar, and he pulls out a map of the Sword Coast North, which I have in one of my books surrounding me right now. And he basically kind of lays it out on the table. It's a rough sketch, basically, but he's able to sort of point out things on it. He shows you where Waterdeep is on the map, which is a small dot along the coast. And then he points to another small dot on the north side of what appears to be a very wet, marshy-looking area on the map. He says that is Leyland. That is where they were supposed to mail me from. It's about a 10 days travel from here in Waterdeep to there. And I expect a 10 days return on a letter. However, it has been almost a month since I have heard from them. And so I can only suspect the worst.
Understood.
Now, there are a few places along the way which they may have stopped. Certainly, there are places to check. There is a place north of here known as Thornhold. It is very friendly to travelers. Currently in possession of a clan of dwarves who tend to be very secretive, but always willing to welcome travelers, named the Stone Shaft Clan. And, of course, there are also some roadhouses along the way, one in particular known as the Karnath Roadhouse. I've shipped a few things there, basically supplies for the workers along the road. I do know that it is sort of a central hub for building the high road back up. The issue, of course, is simply the Mirror of Dead Men, and he points to the swampy area in the middle, and he says, it encroaches. It has been encroaching for centuries, and it continues to. And for quite some time, we did not use the high road. In fact, until Dagult fled to Neverwinter, and decided to try to mend relations with Waterdeep, the high road was useless. But due to his current efforts, it was used again. They said that it was safer than sea shipping and with Luskan piracy. I thought that it might be a good idea, but clearly I was mistaken. However, I would like my stuff returned, if it is at all possible to return it. And so I would suggest that you take that path. Follow the high road, a 5 days journey north to Thornhold. From there, a 5 days journey to Leland, and see what you can find.
And what were the names of your compatriots again?
One, a dwarf named Gundren Rockseeker. An acquaintance from, let us say, more adventurous days. A treasure hunter of sorts, but a good fellow and a strong hand. The other is Sildar Hallwinter, an honored veteran of the Griffin Eyrie here in Waterdeep. He, of course, it would be a great loss if anything were to happen to him. He is incredibly well respected here in the city and incredibly well respected by myself. An old friend.
That was
What race is Sildar?
Hallwind?
What?
Hallwinter. What race?
Hallwinter. He's human. Yeah, he's an Aluskan human.
Okay. Anyone else, or just those two?
Just those two, as far as I know, unless they pick along the road.
Okay. All right. Would you prefer us to head out immediately, or may we?
Oh no, of course not. Of course, and he has keys in his pocket, and he hands you a key to the room upstairs, one to each of you. And he says, "I fully intend you to get a good night's rest before starting out.
I'll raise a
Feel
key.
free.
Thank you.
Yes, feel free to use the rooms upstairs. They're all clearly marked. They're the ones along the wall there, and he just sort of gestures up along the northern wall to the three rooms there. The rooms there, the three rooms there, and the one in the corner. Sort of gestures up to those, and he's like, "Yes, take those. Get a good night's rest."
Will do. Thank you.
Certainly.
I believe the gentleman at the bar wanted you.
Yes, of course. Well, feel free to continue enjoying your tea, and I will speak with the gentleman at the bar. And he pushes out his chair, and he goes up to Reef, and Reef, he just sort of guides you away a little from the table. He just says, "What business have you?"
Before I get into that, did I hear all that at the table? These three heard.
Roll me a perception check, just for the hell of it.
That's going to be a 19. So.
Yep, you heard.
Cool. Okay. Then he asked me. What did he ask me again? I'm sorry.
What business have you? Why did you? Because he knows that you were seeking him out. Like, why are you looking?
I actually just wanted to ask you something, and I'm holding the.
Oh, okay. He looks at the letter, then he looks back up at you, and he says, "Come with me." And he just sort of takes you behind the bar into the back area, and you see that the back area is actually a long, low kitchen.
Okay.
With a couple islands and a stove and shelves full of ingredients and all sorts of kitchen stuff.
Just so you know, that like me, Reef is already sweating.
All right, cool.
Like,
That's fine. Just don't sweat on the meats.
I'm actually sweating right now. I'm like actually. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Don't be nervous. I haven't gotten out the death roll dice yet.
See,
Look
no,
at this big
don't
chunk.
do that to me.
Look at this big chunk. Listen to it. Listen to it roll. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
There goes Spruce. He's already
Yep.
dead.
Yeah.
That's Death's footstep. Every time
Yep.
he takes another step closer.
The
The footstep of death. All right. Anyway, so he takes you back to the kitchen, and he just kind of like stands at one of the islands, and he just says, "So, what is it that you're looking for here?"
Right now, I'm looking for. She sent me this letter. Said to come here. And her there was a adventure. So.
She said to come here.
Well, no, she said to go to the tea shop, but can't stand. So.
Alea told you to meet her at the tea shop.
Well, actually, no. I didn't actually know where to go, and people I arrived with recognized the seal at the tea shop.
Regis, of course.
Yeah. Nice. He is actually my mentor.
Indeed. Did you receive the runes?
Yeah. Did you know about that?
I made them.
Oh. Thank you.
Yes. I have a specialty with old magic, and he says this as he just kind of walks around the room. And you can actually look out the back window into what's behind the inn, and you're kind of surprised to see this like beautiful green garden, but it's sort of like the true English garden where everything's just incredibly overgrown. You do see like a little patch that's like a garden with like herbs and vegetables and stuff in it, but mostly it's just sort of like this wild expanse that it's almost like half a football field of just like green space before you see the other cliff. It's crazy. But yeah, that's just sort of playing around, and he's like washing stuff in the sink, and he's just like, yes, old magic is sort of a specialty of mine. Regis contacted me. He said that he wanted a gift for a divination wizard, and I simply told him, find something that he loves, and I'll carve runes into it. Anyway, as far as Alea goes, and he sort of sets down what he's doing, and he's toweling off his hands, and I'm afraid that I can't help you finding her. When she was here, she came to me because she knew that I could contact Regis. As you know, I have a business relationship with Kedis's brother-in-law, Temerin, which you may or may not have actually known, but
he's just going
who
to nod
knows?
his head like he knows what he's talking.
Of course, because that's what you do in this situation. You
Yeah.
just smile and wave.
Act like you know something and hope to God it works out.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like, I sometimes ship my tea with Temerin to let's say the shadier parts of Faerun. But Alea just knew that I could contact Regis. She had me seal the letter, but I agreed never to read its contents, and the only thing that she told me was that she was headed off on a trip somewhere. Fae, I think she said? Yes, definitely Fae. Which I distinctly remember telling her was a terrible idea, but she didn't seem dissuaded. I can't say where she is now.
She'll probably be back at some. She said to come here if I was looking for adventure, I guess. So
May I? And he like
I'll
holds
hand him
his
the
hand out
letter.
for the letter. Okay. He just kind of skims down through it. It's just like, let me actually get out the contents of the letter, but he knows it.
I hope to God I'm remembering it right, because I didn't have stuff to take notes with until about 20 minutes ago. So
Let's see.
which is kind of my fault.
Honest, and he just kind of reads out the last paragraph, and he says, honestly, Reef, it would be much easier for you to come down for Waterdeep. If you want to contact me, just find an adventure, and I'm sure you'll find me. Your friend, Alea.
You have a job?
As a matter of fact. And he just sort of hands the letter back to you, and he says, I'll tell you what. This is what I may do for you. If you would like to join that little band of adventurers out there and help me out with my problem, I can search. I have some contacts in the adventuring
hobo,
world.
Rabbit, and in the yes.
Yes. They may not look like much, but I'm hoping for great things.
Excuse me, I look like a rabbit.
I said rabbit.
Did.
I know. But that's
Oh, are you talking about?
that's not much.
You know, it's not much from the life experience of Ardius. Y'all look like a group of first level adventurers, and it shows.
Wow.
So,
I mean, we are, so.
but Ardius will
he's
take
got
what
it.
he can pay for.
He's got a really good eye.
So, he's like,
Sure. I'll have to send a to Cap.
oh,
See if
I can
he's
do
okay-
that.
See if he's okay with this. I mean, I want to abandon the.
well, if I know anything about Regis, he would certainly be fine with losing a crew member. Although Kedis, I feel, is just a touch more straight-laced than that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
And he hands you a key to one of the rooms upstairs, and he says, spend the night. I will go down to the docks myself and speak with Kedis. I will see what he thinks of the matter. I will tell him my intentions, to use my contacts to see if I may find where Alea has gone. If he is fine with this outcome, I invite you to join the party. And if you can do this thing for me, perhaps I may do something for you.
Deal.
Excellent. And he shakes your hand.
Of course.
Um,
Sorry about sweat. Sorry.
Oh, trust me.
Trying the towel again.
I run a tea shop. I have been elbow deep in worse things. I'm sure that you met some of the nobles in there.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't worry. It's all a matter of language. You learn one language, you learn them all.
That's not a language I want. And
And then as he walks back out, he's like, really, it's like thieves' cant in a way. It's all about how you say what you're going to say. And
will go silent and head up to his room.
okay, yeah. So you just head up to your room. What are the rest of you doing?
I am sipping my tea with these two total strangers.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
how's that
tune
working
my
out?
mandolin.
Oh wait, did they not go upstairs?
They haven't gone upstairs yet.
Oh,
They're chilling at the table.
They didn't go up to the room,
Giant
so I'm actually going
rabbit.
to join the table. Sorry.
Okay,
I thought everyone went to bed. So I was going to go to sleep.
gotcha.
No, if they're still down here, I'm going to join them.
No, it's actually probably like mid-afternoon. So.
Oh yeah, okay. No, I'm definitely going to join them.
Yeah. Yeah, and Ardius will just kind of go back to bustling around between the Tea of Life and the Wayfarer Inn. You see that there's actually another hallway besides the kitchen that kind of connects the two. You kind of see him moving around. He's free for any questions you guys have or anything you want to say, but for the most part, he's just kind of doing his thing and letting you guys do yours.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be tuning my mandolin and just kind of like looking at the group that's still at this table and just. So, where are you all from?
Out there.
All right.
Well, I just mean I'm from Waterdeep. Lived here my whole life. How about you?
Actually from Turk, so.
I'm from a faraway island called Aster.
Interesting.
Sure.
Never heard of it.
Same.
I haven't heard of a lot of things, though.
It's a small island in, I believe it's called the Sea of Lost Stars. I don't really know. Our island isn't really sequestered, but like not a lot of people just want to leave because it's home. Why would we leave? But I don't know. I just had a craving for adventure, and I just felt like leaving.
Sorry, what did you say your name was? I'm Spruce, by the way.
Oh, nice to meet you, Spruce. My name is Cooper.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And you, my hooded friend. You seem like you have a story or two to tell.
In Sylvan. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I think you do, I reply in Sylvan.
I'm gonna look. Oh, Reef, how confused do you look at the conversation?
Reef is just he's a little uncomfortable because he doesn't really know you guys, so he's just he's trying not to look at anyone right now, but is very nervous. He's probably looking in his spell right now.
I'll ask Reef in Sylvan. Do you speak Sylvan?
What?
I'll ask in Common. Do you speak Sylvan?
No,
I'm guessing not.
not at all.
It'd be pretty rude to use that when
Yeah,
person
but
won't
I kind
understand.
of get the feeling. Just
I apologize, it is my native tongue.
I get that.
Understandable.
In common, I say that.
I was hoping it wasn't. It would have been hysterical.
Just continue
Sylvan.
speaking in Sylvan. Whatever.
What's your character's name again, Kofi?
Sona.
I was just about to ask you that. And what's your
My name is Sona.
Good to
Ah,
know.
Sona. Interesting name. I can't find my good notebook, dang it.
Kofi,
Yes.
roll me a perception check.
That's gonna be a 14.
14. Okay.
14.
Yeah, you don't really notice anything else going on. The Ardius is just kind of bustling behind the counter. The people are playing cards in the back. The halflings chatting with the what you heard What you suspect deeply is a gnome, but you are unsure.
Yep, because I don't speak now.
So where are you from that Sylvan's your native tongue?
Somewhere far away from here.
Would I know? Would I know? By any chance, would I know what place would Sylvan? Come?
I mean, so Sylvan isn't like exclusive to the Feywild, because a lot of Fey actually also exist on Faerun. But I'll tell you what, roll me an intelligence check, just intelligence.
Oh.
That's gonna be an 11.
Okay, I mean, you know that Sylvan is a language spoken by Fey and Fairy. You're not. That's pretty much what you know.
Oh yeah, Reef's
You know that it's
stay
a
quiet.
Fey language, but you know that's kind of spoken sort of everywhere by different numbers of people.
Reef will just stay quiet then.
Yeah. Not common. It's not common for people to speak Sylvan, but you just happen to be in a really weird group of people who just all happen to know how to speak
I
it.
don't know their lives. Maybe she's just speaking that because she wants to be an asshole.
Because what?
Maybe she's just speaking that way because she wants to be an asshole. Don't.
No, that is her native tongue.
I'm not actually calling her an asshole, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
I'm gonna re-ingratiate myself in the conversation and say, well, I'm gonna speak to her in Sylvan and say, well, this is the language of the fairies. So where are you from that you speak fairy so native?
Probably somewhere that has fairies.
The blessings of Titania be with you.
And also with you.
Amen.
You hear a chuckle from the bar. Artius is chuckling at whatever you just said. And he bustles away and through the kitchen.
So
I'll shout in Sylvan towards him. Blessings of Titania be with you too.
They already are, he shouts back.
So
Truly the best response.
Reef is gonna address the table. So do plan on
Sorry.
What's
Cutting
that?
out.
when do we plan on leaving?
Probably tomorrow. I'd like to
Uh,
get some different magic at my disposal.
Well,
Well, I
hold
mean,
on. We do not know
morning,
your name yet.
afternoon. Oh yes.
Oh, right.
You.
What's your name, sir?
Your name.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Yes.
My name's Reef.
Reef.
Ah, Reef.
Nice. I like it. Very, very natural.
It goes good with your aesthetic. Yes.
With your aesthetic. Oh my god.
I think he belongs on the other side of this.
He really does belong in the tea shop.
Just,
Um,
I'm
yeah.
just. Okay. So early morning then? I guess.
Oh God, no,
Get
not
an
early
early start
morning.
on the day?
I am not an early
Absolutely.
riser.
Crack of dawn.
Ugh.
I am okay with that.
I'm crepuscular. Could we do afternoon?
Don't worry.
That's
I'll
disgusting.
Wake you up.
I mean, I'd rather get an early start.
I
Got a
agree.
lot-
Get
got a lot of
The
travels
quicker we
to
get
do.
started, the quicker we get it.
Oh God. All right.
Don't worry, we'll wake you up.
I don't want to be woken up.
Well, it's gonna happen.
See, I don't know
And-
if this is Cooper or. So-
Little column A, little column B.
And so as the day passes and you can, Artius will come back over, see if any of you need tea. And he'll set down a pack of playing cards and he'll be like,
Oh.
an excellent way to get to know someone, I think. And he just kind of like slams, not slams, but he just kind of like sets the cards down on the table. And I'm like, it really shows you what kind of person you're dealing with. And he just kind of refills the pot of tea and goes back about his business.
Question for the DM.
Yes.
Are cards a normal thing where I come from?
Yeah. Everyone plays cards, Kofi.
Cool. I'm just curious.
Reef would probably take the cards and shuffle. He's been on a ship. He probably plays.
Sure. But the question is, what kind of game do you deal?
I mean, I'll
Reef.
ask what
Oh,
do you guys want to play? Ask
I
the-
get it. I get it now. He said dealing with cards. It was a pun.
Was.
I don't know any games, so you'll have to teach me.
I don't know any other.
I don't really know that many games outside of Acer. I played this the one game.
Any cool Easter games?
Sure,
question
yeah.
for the DM. I have a
Reef,
question.
you can wipe the table with these players if you really wanted to, is what they're saying.
Yeah, I got that.
Unless we're all hustling you.
So Reef would know this, but Tom doesn't. What games at this point?
I mean, technically there's 3 Dragon Ante, but I don't know the rules of that either. It's let me put to you this way.
Fish.
Cards is a way to talk and learn about people. So it doesn't really matter what you're playing as long as you're talking.
Oh God.
And that's why Ardius gave you the cards. Because
These
he
are
knows
this is like a
adventuring parties live or die.
This is a like a standard set of cards, right? It's not like tarot cards, is it?
Oh yeah, no, he didn't give you
Many.
he didn't give you like Taraka cards or anything.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
The Ace of Spades.
I guess
That
it's-
signifies no. He didn't do that to you.
Let's just probably play a regular game of poker and start explaining as he that slightly vague on. He's not gonna go into full detail. But,
No, that's fine. So over the course of the game, as you all learn the rules, like how do each of your characters sort of play the game after you start to learn the rules of poker? Like what's your angle, each of you?
Eve doesn't never that this attitude, no matter how good his cards get,
Sona.
tries
would like
to.
do something. What are you gonna do?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Sona's going to ask to attempt to shuffle the deck and attempt to sleight of hand some
Stacking the
some
deck.
cards.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to catch that. I'll do a
I'm
perception
not paying
check.
attention.
I mean, I already shuffled, so
I know, like
So I
he
don't
was saying
see-
as we start to learn. So
I assume we play more than one game.
Okay, I
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a what is that? Sleight of hand is a dex. What is?
I mean,
my
that would
dex?
probably be wouldn't that be more perception?
That is a
would be
17. Perception?
yeah.
Yeah.
perception.
Oh, sorry, not sleight of hand. Perception, wisdom. Then that is a.
4.
17. 7, 15, 16. Wow. 15. I can't math. Oh my god.
That's
So-
25.
25.
So
That's
Spruce
25.
is really just like
So
I feel like Spruce is either like thinks he's doing really well and isn't, or just doesn't know what's going on. Just generally, just like yeah, I'm playing the game.
Anyways, did
Yeah.
I see the
Check
sleight
me
of hand
out.
or not?
No,
no, if you roll a 25, you did not 15.
No,
I
you
rolled
don't
a
see-
25.
You rolled a 25. Oh yeah, no, I didn't know. I didn't know this.
Expertise.
Shockingly, rogues don't. Are
who would
to
have
catch.
known?
However, as Ardius passes by to refill the tea, he will lean over and be maybe put it a little further up your sleeve if you're going to go.
We did.
Oh, could you guys actually not hear what I said?
We
No,
could
we
actually.
actually-
I heard.
No.
I heard it.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
That,
it's all-
see, that works.
Hey, the whisper still worked.
Yeah,
Son of a bitch.
nice.
I
So,
will do
the evening passes. You guys continue to play cards, talk. If there's anything else you
I mean, Reef
think you would share.
Reef would probably explain how he got there.
Okay.
Not from Waterdeep, the ship he came in. Maybe a little bit about the how he, but not too much detail. He's not giving them his life story.
Sure.
Just the day, essentially. Like God.
Ship traders, yeah. Joe, you would. Spruce would actually probably know a thing or two about this particular shipping business. A lot of homeless people actually live down the dock ward, so you've probably actually seen the Eternal Spring in the docks before. You probably never interacted with Reef, but you've seen him about. Maybe, or you've seen the crew about. So you recognize the ship's name at least. As he's talking about
that
it.
does sound familiar.
Nice ship.
Yeah.
I
don't know a nice ship from a bad ship. I think
The Eternal Spring is a very nice ship.
I'm sure it is.
Question for DM.
Yes.
It's gonna be a very strange question. What season is it right now?
What season is it? It is
Like in the
currently
world.
winter
Oh, winter. Okay.
in Faerun.
All right. So I was gonna say if it was summer, I'd probably get too hot wearing my cloak.
Yeah, but it's a very like muddy kind of winter, like not a pretty snow winter, like a nasty mucky winter.
Cool. Then I'm still wearing my cloak with the hood
All
up.
right. Cool. So
Now it's spoiled.
nice.
I would explain betting to try to get not a whole lot, but just to encourage them to gamble. Maybe
Gotcha.
Maybe like a gold piece.
I even have money.
I have 5 gold.
I have 10.
I would like to attempt to bet 1 gold.
You can bet one. Yeah, we'll just bet one.
Yeah, I'll bet a gold.
Okay.
I've got a gold. I have one to.
All right.
throw away.
Here's how we'll do it. Everyone, roll me a D20.
Gotcha.
Kofi, you can roll this at advantage because you have a card up your sleeve.
That's right.
Whoever has the highest number wins the hand.
What do we add?
Nothing. Just a straight D20.
Well, I guess the nat 20 that Kofi just rolled got it.
Yep.
Yes.
I got an 8.
Sona wins the hand. Although, let's have them roll perception checks.
I rolled a nat 20 and an 18. Holy crap.
Nat
that was a
20.
good roll.
13.
Nat 20 on perception.
Oh, yeah. Reef,
17.
she absolutely slipped a card out of her sleeve.
I was really hoping I saw it.
He'll point that out. I was like, you can't cheat in your first game. What the hell?
I mean, you didn't explain the rules very well.
Were we all
Fine,
supposed to
I
have
won't
cards
take
up
your
our
gold.
sleeves?
No, you don't. You don't put cards up your sleeve. You don't. Just take cards, and you only have what's in your hand. Please don't do that again. Okay? I don't have a whole lot of money. I don't need to lose more.
Well, you had enough to bet.
I had what I have. Fine.
Yeah. So Ardius will come by, clean up the tea service. Is there anything else you guys would like to do before you go up to your rooms for the night?
I'm good.
So,
Can I look to see if anyone had dropped change on the...
Yeah, you can.
Okay, sure, why not?
Do me an investigation.
Oh, investigation?
Yeah.
That's gonna be a 7.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I
Ardius
didn't think
keeps
so.
this place pretty clean, it seems.
Alright.
I wish to speak to Cooper.
Okay.
So, you're a rabbit.
Did you pull him? Did you pull him off to the side, or is
No,
he alone?
just at the table.
Okay.
Because
Wait,
I'm
like,
imagining
no one
my
else
character's been like,
I like how no one else questioned 6
yeah.
foot tall rabbit at the table.
Yeah.
except
quick,
for her.
Joe,
I've seen a lot of weird
where's
people.
gold on D&D Beyond?
So if you go to
equipment.
equipment,
Mhm.
and then it's the top right of the equipment box. It says currency. Just click
Ah.
on that, and then you can adjust it and hit add or remove.
I didn't
Okay.
take the gold. I gave it back to you guys.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Because he caught me cheating, so I wasn't gonna take the gold.
Oh, okay.
Spruce genuinely was like, "Oh, this isn't how you play the game."
No, Spruce, it's not. You don't cheat.
Okay.
No, you just don't.
Okay.
You hear Ardius humming behind the bar.
Alright, so to answer
You are
Sona's
a
question.
rabbit?
Yeah, I'm I'm a rabbit kind. My race is called Puka. I'm a rabbit kind of three different total delineations of my people. There are also hares, and there are also Pika. But yes, I am a rabbit kind Puka, yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
So, do you hop around like a rabbit?
My God.
I mean...
Does that count as racist? I don't know if that counts as racist.
Oh,
Just
Cooper's
curious.
Cooper's low key taking this as like building microaggressions. So Cooper will stand up and he'll just be like, I mean I can walk, and I'll just walk across the hall very plainly and simply, and it's like, I can hop. I don't feel like doing it right now, but I can.
Interesting.
Reef is just gonna leave. He's gonna go. If it gets to be really late after, he's just gonna go.
Okay. So Reef, whenever you go upstairs, I mean, the doors are oak, like pretty much all the trim around here. You see that there's a silver latch to put the key into, and there appears to be like a little string on the door. You're not really sure what that's about. But then there's some very nice silver like filigree around the edge of the door.
Okay. So I'm gonna walk in. What's in the
So the room's pretty simple. There's not actually any windows or anything, but there is a very nice like bed. It's kind of like a very nice sleigh bed, oak like everything else. But it looks very comfortable and soft and warm. There's a little table and a desk with a chair, and there's a little fire that's cheerily burning in the corner. And you see that on the back of the door there appears to be a bell attached to the string on the front of the door. So you assume it's some sort of like wake up call kind of thing, you know?
Okay. So he's gonna turn and shut the door, and you said is the silver stuff?
No, it's only on the outs. It's only on the side of the door that faces.
Damn. Okay, I can't use myself. So he'll lock the.
Were you gonna carve out the silver filigree?
No, I wasn't gonna do that. I was gonna do that.
I was gonna say, don't ruin my inn. My inn is very nice.
It is. It's very lovely. But he's gonna lock the door because he doesn't plan on. He's here to go to sleep.
Okay, that's fair.
But before he does, he has his component. He's gonna take out, and I assume Reef has for all the spells he has.
Yeah, I assume that you have a component pouch that lets you cast, like, I don't know how much a normal component pouch is worth for wizards, but...
Okay, so...
5 million gold.
No, not that much.
It doesn't have, like, an actual, like, money cost, but he's small. He's gonna pull out a tiny bell and some silver wire.
Okay.
And cast along the door.
Okay.
Walk over. And also on the...
Got you. So you alarmed what and what now?
Do you want the spell or what did I cast it?
Well,
what are you casting?
Just cast alarm around your room.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if it comes in from anywhere.
Well, no,
it protects an area. Alarm protects an area. So, but describe to me, like, I want to hear how Reef goes about this. So you have a bell and silver wire. Like, what is it that Reef does? That's what I want to know.
I mean, it's like a small spool of silver, and he just has the bell attached to one end, so he knows where to. So he has the spool in one hand, and he's just holding onto the bell, and like jingles slightly.
Yeah.
And wire out, like just the width of the door.
Yeah.
And casting with that, because it doesn't consume the wire. Then spooling it back up.
Okay, so he puts it away. What I was curious about was if he just leave the wire there, like trip wire across the door with the bell attached. So it's not like he's really casting a spell at all. He's in fact just setting up an alarm,
No.
which I like.
He's not leaving it there.
Okay.
Taking it out, casting,
Look at the amazing
grabbing
wizard.
and putting it back in his pouch. If any of the others did come upstairs, they probably did hear a bell jingle slightly.
Okay. All right. That's fine. What's everyone else up to then?
As I head upstairs, I hear a bell jingle, and my ear kind of perks up, and then I'm like, okay. And I go to my room.
All right, same deal. There's a little string on the door, a silver lock, silver filigree. On the inside, you see a bell. Very same appointed bed, side table, desk, chair, fire, burning cheerily.
Yeah.
All the same kind of stuff.
I am gonna set down my gear, set my mandolin down on like any kind of like table or desk that's in there.
Sure.
Take off my over vest, take off my actual vest, and just plop down on the bed and just be like, I think there's a racist in my party.
Okay. Fair enough. What about the other two? What would you like to do?
What time is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's like twilight, maybe. So it hasn't gotten totally dark yet, but it's like getting there.
It is the crepuscular time.
Here's what's really cool, right? So because this building looks out over the Sea of Swords, a very reddish gold light is now shining through the front windows of the Wayfarer and kind of casting this golden red light across the entire room.
Nice.
Almost like whoever built it designed it that way for dramatic effect.
It's a good idea.
Artius is standing at the bar looking incredibly proud of himself as the golden light dances across.
I really like what you did here. It's really cool.
Thank you. I tried my best.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna get up and head upstairs and go to bed.
Oh, before you do, and he gets out like a bowl and he pours out clear water into it and he hands it to you and he's just like, for Eldath.
Oh, thank you.
A still pool of water. So do you go upstairs?
Yeah, then I take.
Do you slosh it, or do you carry it very carefully?
I carry it very carefully. I know
Okay.
what this is about.
All right.
I know the deal.
I wasn't sure. He could do it either way.
Right now, it's just keep it cool.
All right, fair enough. Okay. So you go upstairs. Same deal, same room, same type of room. It's very nice. Which just leaves Sona. Sona.
Cool.
What are you
Once the rest of the party has left, I will pull down my hood and just kind of like finish off with a little more tea, enjoying the sun. Knowing that I'll be up in like 4 hours.
It's true.
And
It
just
helps,
kind of,
right?
I mean, I'll like make conversation with I should know his name, with Artius.
Sure. Roll me an insight check as you're standing.
It's not very good. Except I have, that's not that good either. 8, 9, 10, 11.
11? Okay.
Yeah.
As you're talking with Artius, you get an impression of something, and you're not sure what. But there's like something at the back of your brain that's just like, there's something that I should be remembering right now that I'm not. And you're not sure what it is, and you don't know if it's like what you're talking about or like who you're talking to. Like, you don't know where it's coming from, but there's like some impression of like, there's something that I forgot that I should remember right now. But as Artius is standing there, he's kind of asking you like, so where did you learn Sylvian?
Okay, yeah. I trust him enough because he is an elven kind.
Well, here's the thing. I can roll a my passive insight, and I know where you're from, just for the record.
Yeah, I know. Well, that and the fact that my because I'm speaking Sylvan, and because my hair is a mixture of hair and feathers.
Right.
Yeah, I am from the Feywild.
Feywild. There's a place.
Yes.
Did you come here recently, or was it during the plague, the Sundering? What brought you to Faerun?
Family matters.
Ah,
Love it.
yes. Family matters do come up often with the noble Eladrin family, now don't they?
Yes, they do. This
Mm.
one sends me here.
I see. Well,
Trying to deceive. Rolled an 8. That's not gonna happen.
oh, okay. Well, my passive insight's a 26, so no, you can't lie to me.
Okay.
I mean, if I had deception and expertise on it, but I don't. It's okay.
Anyway, but he's not gonna press you about it. He's just going to be like, well, yes, I know enough about the fairy court to know that things are whimsical there, and it can be difficult to deal with. Well, at the very least, I can say this: welcome to the realms.